Morning, you two. Just like people need blood, so do animals, and Winnipeg is the place that collects and processes this blood so it could be sent right across the country. Now, a little earlier on in the show, we got to show you the collection process from some very generous donors. Now we've got their blood, and we're trying to figure out what to do with it to maximize its utility. So to tell us a little bit more about that, I'd like to introduce you to Beth Knight. Now, we've got the blood. We want to make sure it lasts a really long time. So you're telling me we have to separate it into two components. What are we separating this into?
We're separating them into concentrated red cells and plasma. The two of them do totally different things within the body. So when veterinary clinics call to ask for a product, we want to supply them with the component that the patient requires, not just giving whole blood transfusions.
That way each blood donation goes a little further.
Exactly.
Okay, so what's the first step into this separation process?
Well, the first step is actually balancing. You'll notice this is one of our units that we received, and it's being balanced with a counterbalance so that we can then put it into a centrifuge. The centrifuge are very large, floor model refrigerated ones, and as you can see, they hold as many as 6 units at a time.
Okay.
And we literally would just slip this unit in here, like this, with a counterbalance across from it.
Okay.
Close the centrifuge, and then it would spin.
Neat. And we can hear this one humming in the background. This one's already in progress. So what this is going to be doing, it runs for a certain amount of time, and during the process it gets separated. So you can hear that it's working really, really hard. So the end result, what's that going to look like when once the stuff gets out of there, Beth? What happens next?
We all have to use our imagination.
Okay.
You're going to have plasma on the top part.
Okay.
And the red cells on the bottom. What I do is just break this cannula. This press squeezes the plasma out into this satellite bag, so that, and then using this very unique instrument that seals the tubing, I'm able to have a concentrated red cell left over. So you'll notice this is half the size of the whole blood.
Okay.
And then I'd have plasma. Now this one happens to have been frozen from last week, but you can see we've got two very distinct, different looking products that are stored totally different.
Fascinating stuff.
One is kept at 4 degrees, the other one again in the freezer. Longer shelf life, very short shelf life.
So the red blood cells last for about a month, is it?
Yeah.
And then the plasma can go for a year when it's fresh frozen, and then indefinitely if it's just frozen.
2 years for the frozen plasma.
Wow.
You learned a lot. I'm so glad you
Beth
came.
has been a very good teacher. Thank you so much, Beth. Guys, a really fascinating place, and it's great to discover that the work that's being done in Winnipeg is helping pets right across the entire country.
Yeah, fascinating stuff, Drew. Not only how it's done, but the fact that it's being done at such a large extent and for the entire nation right here in Winnipeg.
Yeah, about 20 different donations are collected here in Winnipeg each week. And if you think that your pet would make a good candidate, just talk to your local veterinarian. They'll know the stuff about the weight restrictions and the temperament. And from there, your vet can decide whether or not you'd be a good candidate and hook you up with the folks here at the Canadian Animal Blood Bank.
Yeah, hopefully today not only a big education for us all, but an inspiration for lots of pet owners as well. Thank you very much, Drew.